The ModernJeeper Show, the show about Jeeps, Jeeping, and Jeepers.
Well, hey, Modern Jeepers, is another episode of the ModernJeeper Show with me, Matson from Cloak, and Mr. Modern Jeeper, Corey Osborne.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Corey. Rockstar Jeep Girl Jessy.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, good to see y'all. Usually it's about the time I'd be saying, hey, are you clearing the dust out of your nostrils yet from KOH? But you were smart this year and you stayed home.
We did. We watched, I think Jesse watched all of the pre-running, all of the qualifying, and every single race from the streaming feed. So
did you have the premium service?
Yes,
we did.
Yeah,
which,
yeah.
you know, sometimes the free, we went back and forth a lot because some of the premium stuff had some issues as well. But I think they did a good job.
Yeah.
Did you watch the multi-view?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the cool one. I just had the multi-view going, just watching that. That's just cool. And see the camera, like, oh, what's that? Oh, that's the ground he's walking along because the camera's just being dragged on the ground. Yeah.
Well, I got to see the back of everybody's trucks, and I mean, it was good. They need some little bit of tweaking, but they're getting there. They're getting there.
Well, I'm getting there. I mean, hell, you didn't think about it. They've got what I don't know, estimates of 100,000 people out there. Massive city in the middle of no place, power, infrastructure, satellite, drones going. I mean, hats off to whoever's handling the drone work. These dudes are freaking they're amazing.
They're pretty amazing.
They must be like 10-year-old kids, quite frankly. Just the
sitting
way
on the rocks.
What I want to know,
well,
before we get too deep, we probably should just set up our trigger word for this episode. We'll just use KOH. I think that'll be easy.
Yeah, that's that would be drunk in 5 minutes.
Right. But I what I want to know is how many batteries, because I've had messed around with my drones and stuff, and flight time isn't that great. They had to have a couple of hundred batteries being charged all the time.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to know is how come the drones aren't all solar powered, constantly recharging themselves as they're out there in the middle of flying with the sun on them, right?
Yeah, so I understand that perspective.
Yeah, no, it's just but you're right that you didn't even think about that, because the drone really lasts 15 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to 20, depending on what you're doing. I mean, and a live feed, I'm guessing that's using more battery power.
Right. So now I don't even know which drones they're running, because I've seen, I've been out at Area BFE when there was a dude out there with a pro drone, right? And this thing was massive. It was probably 3 feet across. It had 8 different propellers going, motors going, right? It was holding a DSL type camera. Right. Now, I don't know what they're running out there, because obviously technology today is just amazing, and they can run these, even your tiny little drone that you have, your little miniature thing,
probably 4K.
Exactly. And I know out Stampede, when they were running them at Stampede, and you had the guy who was just sitting there at the one rock obstacle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just running alongside cars as they're going along. That was just a standard drone, the average 4-prop drone. So I know what they're running, but you're right. How do they maintain that, and how do they keep the battery going?
I think KOH has become such a I don't know. We planned to have a guest on that was actually there this week, and that didn't work out. And
he wasn't an important guest, though.
Right. It wasn't like won the 4400 class or anything like that.
Well, he had to come back and get busy with his other companies to pay for everything.
Right.
Which we're excited. It will be announced here in the next day or two, probably by the time y'all hear this. But the Metal Cloak shootout, because I don't know if we're going to call it Stampede. We might call it the Metal Cloak Stampede. It might be returning to Prairie City. But round one of the NorCal Rock Racing, which we've sponsored round 2 before in the Reno, and we had it as a shootout. Round 1 is coming back to Prairie City, and we're sponsoring it. We're gonna headline it. So, but right now, I don't know if we just call it the shootout, or if we might just say, hell with it, we'll call it the Stampede and return the Stampede to Prairie City. I know. I just don't know. We don't really own that name. but it's not being used. So, we might just say, yeah, we'll just do it. And, but either way, the massive event that was Prairie City is coming back. And that's going to be March. Actually, it's the same weekend as Bluegrass, Battle in Bluegrass. So you have an East Coast race and a West Coast race going on the same weekend.
Nice. And that's still Mr. Goodby's the organizer, yeah?
Yeah, John Goodby.
Nice.
Which he's looking for a salesman. Anybody want to go out there and do some sales for him? Because John Goodby's very lazy, doesn't like to do anything other than like run his 3 businesses and the races and and all the race ops and everything else. He's really a lazy guy, so he doesn't like doing sales. So anybody interested in sponsoring that, reach out to John Goodby. Reach out to me and maybe I'll take money anyway. But so onto it. Yeah. So there's just like so much going on, but how do you do these drones and how do you manage that whole and the operation side has changed so much since when I've been there, right? And just what they have access to and the data they have access to, and watching it on the live feed with the premium feed, you just got so much good information.
Yeah. And to be able to not have to stand out there in the cold weather and the wind and the dirt and the dust. There's definitely something to be said for that. But I mean, Jesse and I've been going out there. I've been going out there for a long, long time, many, many years. And it feels weird to not be there and not see and be a part of it and be taking pictures and talking to people. But at the same time, it's okay to sit at home and watch it on a screen.
And I didn't want to be sick again.
Yeah.
I am so, and I think KOH is an experience like anything that everybody should go to. First couple of years after I stopped going, I was torn by it because I still wanted to be racing. And, but I'm over it. Like I'm watching it going, that's cool. One, I'm never going to spend the money to compete against these guys now and the level of engines that they're running and the level of stuff that they're doing with. I just would never have gotten to that point. That's just not where my money goes. But 2, just like everybody, I don't care what time of day it was, everybody was super bundled up. Like it was freezing out there.
Yeah.
It's sun is directly overhead and everybody's still like hoodies and beanies and wrapped up and oh my God.
Desert is cold.
Well, and you just touched on it, the advancements in technology and the equipment that these guys are running. I think it's a double-edged sword. And just example of, Mr. Lauren Healy with a pretty amazing machine. And, something goes wrong, whether it's a sensor, whereas all mechanical stuff, these guys are mechanical guys. So they can tear apart something, they can put in a new transmission, they can put in new steering. But when you're dealing with the electronics side of it, I felt really bad. And so many guys that we had spoken with a little bit after the race through just texting and emails and whatnot, the problems that most of them were having were these electrical gremlins that I don't think that's going to go away.
Well, as they get more and more technology focused. I mean, there was hardly any tech inside of my, my 78 CJ7 with in fact, like the electronics pretty much taken out of the transmission, right? All that stuff was stripped out. But because why? Well, the one electrical thing that I had on the thing besides your normal standard systems was trying to just understanding my speed and everything. That didn't work. I mean, no, these little things just didn't work. You want to go as analog as possible on these race cards, right? But it's going to be hard. But you and I were, texting back and forth about it as well. It's like, this is a high-end business now, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of money going through the hands of Ultra 4 Racing. There's a lot of money going through KOH. There's a lot of money. It is professional level racing. And
it is becoming big business, like you'd mentioned. And the fact that, there was one event that took place there that entire week that I wish we would have been a part of and been there for. And that was they had a media briefing about the EV stuff. And the fact that we had a lot of people, high-powered manufacturers from overseas, the F1 guys were there. Like, there's a lot of talk about EV. And I know every episode I kind of go into this little rant thing about electric vehicles. Guys, it's coming. It's coming.
Already there.
It's already there. They're so far down the road, and we're oh, well, this isn't going to happen to me. I don't have an electric vehicle. Well, we're not gonna have a choice.
Well, there's one truck in the stock class that is EV. Was EV last year? Was EV this year? Of course, he didn't finish this year, but watching him change out batteries in the pits on the premium feed, it's pretty cool what they've done to this.
It is an interesting thing to think about. Then here we are, we're just talking about the problem with electronics. Well, obviously, EV, and it is purely that, right? So building solid state systems that can allow your rig to go through the abuse it goes through, right? And it's even a little bit different. Like all of a sudden, when you start shock tuning, you have to start shock tuning with the idea of the least amount of destruction to the vehicle, because I don't matter how solid state you are, you're moving stuff. Things are falling apart, and EV can't handle that.
For the general consumer, I think it's funny when they start talking about, this is the end of ice, and I'm thinking to myself, the end of ice? What am I going to put in my cocktails? I mean, we got to have ice. And the internal combustion engine, and these guys that are pro EV, that are pro green, they're developing technologies so that the ice, the internal combustion engine, goes away. They won't be allowed.
Gas is going to go up.
Yeah.
Well, it is. I mean, they want to see $20 a gallon gas, right? It's like, but here's the problem: you still have. It's just like cigarettes. $20 a pack, but you'll still smoke it,
right?
Mm-hmm.
But what about? And again, we've talked about this. The other different possible technologies, right? Like hydrogen, right? And it'd be interesting to see hydrogen racing. Of course, there's a whole other safety aspect of when it comes to liquid hydrogen sitting in.
I just had the Ford Pinto from the and just this giant reaction explosion taking place on a race course. Oh, there goes another one.
Yeah, a big ugly moment. So it's who knows what the future is. I do know that the laws coming down from the EPA and all the different targets, it's like they want to eliminate it. They want to make it so that it is purely a world where everything's electronics, that every car has to have 40 to 60 miles to gallon or whatever range. But I don't know what that is going to be, because I know there's a lot of vehicles that I don't want. It's kind of funny when you have something like the 4xe, and we actually have a bracket coming out that just goes and helps to remount the speaker that's at the back of the 4xe that gives out the sound of a vehicle.
Wow.
So, and I guess it's because in certain areas, like in parking garages, it's required to have the sound of a vehicle because you want to be able to see what's coming around you, right? So there's all these other little applications going in to make a super silent car have some sound.
I can already see this, like the tuning options. Hey, you can get that 392 sound in your 4xe.
In the racing.
Let's take that to
that noise.
So
people they get ran over on the courses. We saw that video in Bahia.
Yeah.
Somebody getting plowed over, and everybody's
dude walking around the cactus and just walking. All of a sudden, somebody just
wow.
Yeah.
You're not going to hear electric.
No. Well, and that's, but again, so here, the cool thing about that is like your sound could be anything you wanted, right? Like,
right.
In Ring Central, which is a phone system we use, I can have anything you want, any sort of sound, any sort of ring. It just, because it's all whatever in, I can upload an MP3 basically for the sound. Literally, when you call and you hear ringing, it is just the MP3 that I've uploaded for the sound of ringing. Otherwise, it could be any other sound I wanted for win. So imagine that, like you have your customized. Remember we talked about having like your own personal soundtrack, right? They have what's the website? Oh gosh, it's a geek something or other, but it's a cool little site for selling geeky toys, and you have own little soundtrack. You just hang it on your belt, and you can just have your own little soundtrack. So as you walk, it goes dun, 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 right? Imagine having your own soundtrack to your car.
Music.
Like mine doesn't sound like a 392. It sounds like a damn SpaceX rocket going down the road, right? I want to sound like a jet engine as I drive.
I'm thinking more like herd of cows.
I like it.
A
Well,
Stampede.
then you can just switch it up. Like when you're in traffic in LA, it's just a herd of cows.
Well, we saw
This will be bad.
we saw a
No.
meme the other day. You know, remember when we used to we would pay for a ringtone on our cell phones, and it'd be a song or something like that. And what do we want now? We want to turn all that off. I don't want a notification when somebody does call. I just want to ignore it anyway. So
Right.
we used to pay
Oh,
for
you're
a
one of those.
ringtone, and yeah.
I used to love that. No, it's not.
Now
so
it's
much.
not so much.
Well, now it was like that because that was your thing. It was like, dude, that's so awesome, right? I think the only ringtone I ever paid for was the Mission Impossible 2, the Limp Bizkit version of the that was the badass, like that was my theme song that one month. Yeah.
Cool.
You're right.
I just popped into my head, KOH, the fact that Dave, there were so many people in attendance, they had so many fees coming through the gate that he then turned that money back and distributed that through the winnings and what the racers got back.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I'm still blown away by 1,000 people out there that have no business being in the desert, yet he's done a really good job of some marketing, and it's getting a lot of attention. So kudos and shout out to him.
Yeah, no, it definitely has. And I mean, when you build something phenomenal, people will come, right? And you're right. And the fact that people are going out there and it's become a destination thing, right? And of course, there's those that just go out there, plus the number of racers, plus the amount of things going on. I mean, as a vendor, we just simply can't go anymore. And part of that is that one, yes, there is somewhat of an audience there for us, but people aren't necessarily going there to the vendor show for the purposes of checking out the vendor show, right? And that's fine. But and then I don't know what the current rules are, but there were like restrictions as to actually who can go vote into the vendor area versus who just is going to the event. But I'm not sure what those are anymore. But I've got to be there like Friday and be there through Saturday.
Yeah,
I mean, like an entire over a week long, and that's hard to do. It's hard to take that infrastructure, and because we're not a racing focused company,
right?
We don't have teams out there. We don't have support. We don't need to be like our buddy Greg at Rugged, who is
where they're installing and a part of
it's part of their shtick. It's part of being out there. But he's got 14 trailers. He does 500 events a year, right? Of race events and race related stuff with all his trailers going across the country because that's what he does. Right.
Well, I remember like you said, it took us a lot of work. We had the CTI trailer out there on display years ago, and we've taken it out there and even had other rigs up on the CTI trailer. But again, it's not our focus, like you said, and all of a sudden we have a whole bunch of race car guys wanting to get on the CTI trailer for really that's not what it was ever intended or meant for.
Right.
Look, everybody gets to max it out. Yay. Like it doesn't help anybody. So
yeah. And then most of these guys who max it out. There was a day when they couldn't, though. It was kind of funny. Like I remember, I think the only rig that could really max it out was Big Ugly. And and now it's like, because I remember one of our friends out there, I mean, Curry's rig, they didn't want to get on there. This doesn't flex. That doesn't flex.
Right.
It just put it up there. It'd be fun. No, it doesn't flex. All right. Now everything has got flex. Everything's got things. I mean, I don't know, but it's all about horsepower. Horsepower.
Well, and
what is it like? The Gomez brothers, like 900 horsepower.
Yep.
And I mean, between 7 and 9 seemed to be the name of the game. And kind of funny because KOH really there was a lot of guys then that did very well and finished not into the big horsepower thing. So it's kind of a funny trade-off where do you really need that? But that's what people are attracted to. That's why you go, is to see all that horsepower and smell the race fuel and I don't know. KOH is again, everybody should go once to experience it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like anything. It's like Burning Man. One of these days, I'm going to go to Burning Man just because. Too. Why? Just because. Well, we need to do it. We should do it. We should do a ModernJeeper city.
Yes.
at Burning Man, a modern Jeeper city. It'll be one of our modern Jeeper adventures.
There you go.
We'll start planning it now for next year for 2023.
Right?
Modern Jeeper Adventures City, exclusive. You have to bring a Jeep. You have to wear only Jeep clothing. So everything you wear must have a Jeep or reference a Jeep or be related to a Jeep company. And like you have to drive your Jeep out there. And you can have Jeep. You can get Jeep scooters from Racer. You can't talk about KOH because that would be that'd be wrong. Yeah. If you did mention KOH, you'd have to drink. So
I did get some word from some folks at Jeep this morning that the High Tide, the new high velocity yellow Jeeps are available. They should be up on the website. I'm guessing by the time folks hear this. I looked this morning; they weren't yet. We'd love to find a high velocity JL Rubicon, not necessarily the High Tide version, but yeah, we'll. I don't know. Is
that your next purchase? Is that what you guys looking for? You gonna get it? So
this one here.
Nice.
Been looking.
So does that mean you're gonna retire the JK?
No.
That's just gonna become your race rig.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Nice. That would be nice. Big high velocity.
Just stretch it out, and
it'll be funny because she'll be like 70 years old out there in her JK.
Sure. Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
No.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah. The pedal's the pedal. Vehicle don't care how old you are.
Nope.
Right.
Speaking of technology and new things.
I think we were talking about age actually, but
yeah.
Yeah. What's it? How old are the guys? Who was it that because I don't know a lot of the early guys that raced KOH, but some of them guys were like they're up there now, huh? Like it's been a heartbeat.
Well, and they did some. I mean, it was cool to see the tribute they did to Faravanti Senior, and he's been such a part of the community. And I thought it was really cool that they, did a moment of silence for Gary. And
who's the oldest guy out there? Hey, who is the oldest guy out there?
Sean.
I don't know.
I'm gonna pause for a second just so we can do it, but there's occasionally you're cutting out for some reason, just like it just goes quiet on you. I'm listening and going, yeah, I can edit that, so it'll be fine. But it is if some reason it just kind of goes and then it comes back. So
like my FaceTime.
Not like it catches up.
Yeah, it just kind of goes and all of a sudden just goes silent. And then it comes back. Yeah. Don't usually get that when you're doing it. But anyway, all right, back to it.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the oldest guy would be out at KOH, or oldest racer.
Dan Fresh, Sean. I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah. Well, yeah. How old's Dan Fresh?
Not sure.
Yeah. I know it's crazy.
Bill Baird and those guys. I mean, you don't see Bill out there anymore. And I don't know.
Interesting. Well, yeah, so I mentioned the Razor and the Jeep earlier, but that was like the news I just saw over on cnet.com. They have that the Razor and Jeep are teaming up on an electric scooter, which means it has nothing to do with Jeep except for it's green and it has a Jeep tag on it, and it's an electric scooter.
We saw a Jeep bicycle, like an electric Jeep bike at somewhere.
Was it at SEMA?
Maybe it was at SEMA. And it was like $4,000 or something.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, I think you actually can buy that from Jeep. Like it's on their website or something.
Yep.
I saw. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And again, it's some electric bike that simply has Jeep on the side of it. It's like slapping Apple on the side of something. All of a sudden, you can charge more for it, right? Right. So, but yeah, I don't know. You want to go out and get yourself a? I don't even know how much this is going to be. The RX 200 is. Oh, it says it's trail rated. By the way, the RX 200 is trail rated, but we're not exactly sure what that means in this case. So one thing about Jeep fans is that they're dedicated. This is apparent every time a new Wrangler comes out. The Jeep Wave and with dedicated extended, but RX 200 is powered by a 200-watt motor paired with a 24-volt battery that Razor claims to be good for a ride of 40 minutes. Scooter tops out at 12 miles per hour on rolls on knobby 8-inch pneumatic tires and steel chassis. It will support a ride up to 154 pounds. I'm out. And the scooter rides for 18. Wait, it's 18 and up, but it's only 154 pounds. I don't know a lot of 18-year-olds that are 154 pounds or less.
Like, and don't have a bag or don't have anything like.
Kids.
Razor claims it will support a rider up to 154 pounds and recommends a scooter for riders 18 and up. Wow.
So it's
there's a disconnect there.
Really expensive kid's toy.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if you give it to your 5-year-old and say it's only meant for a kid 18 years old and up, maybe he feels more important about himself. I don't know.
Is there a policing agent for somebody who rides a scooter that isn't 18?
Well, that's why it says it recommends the scooter. Right?
That way, if you get hurt and you're only 16, you can't sue them.
Yeah. Well, then where do you ride it? Like, okay, so here's one of those stupid things. As I was in high school, I had a moped, unlicensed moped. One of my buddies had a licensed scooter. I think it was like a Vespa style, whatever, right? I rode in the bicycle lane all the time. That's what I did. Never had a problem. Because his was licensed and it wasn't a full Vespa. It was like it just looked like it was more like a fancier moped.
Mm-hmm.
But because he had a license plate, if he rode in the bicycle lane with me, he'd get pulled over. He was supposed to ride in the streets. But he would get pulled over and get tickets all the time. I don't want to ride in the streets. So he's just like, I don't want, he doesn't, but
right.
Yeah, whatever. People, you just never know. So where do these electric scooters ride? If they can go 12 miles an hour.
I got nothing.
Can you boost it?
Well,
put a little turbo on it.
For us here where we live, like they wouldn't even be able to make it to town. So there's no bike lane around here. So I don't know.
No bike lane. You don't even have sidewalks.
Right.
How do you walk around there without sidewalks?
Oh, you don't walk.
You don't walk?
No.
Yeah.
You just drive.
You just drive. Yes, you can't drive anymore. So
we're all about burning fuel.
That's good. Good. Well, you're contributing to the economy. That's good.
I'm going to be a salesman here for a minute because I did something to the Gladiator a few days ago that was absolutely the simplest, quickest, easiest upgrade I think I've ever made to anything ever. And has to do with these little guys. This is the rear bump stop from the JT. And it's kind of interesting that the Gladiator still had the stock bump stops. And, we talk about technology and sensors, and this is so simple that, I mean, if everybody's not just buying a set of these Durasprings and yanking this thing out, which takes literally, I shot a video of it and it was like 8 seconds, the entire video of me pulling this out and sticking this one up there, taking a pry bar and popping it in. Like that's the rear. Of course, the front, you got to get between the coil springs or drop the spring out, but super, super simple. I mean, I was like, why wouldn't everybody do this? I don't get it. It makes such a difference in the ride, and especially on the rear of a Gladiator or JL when that suspension is compressing. It makes such a difference between the stock thing. This is a progressive bump stop. It acts almost like a nitrogen pressurized hydraulic bump. It does have a progressive rate to it. And I mean, these, what are they, $100 for a set of 4? Come on.
Yeah, it's something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sold another brand for a long time, but it worked out pretty good. But when we created the Duraspring, it was because we wanted to get a little bit more technology into it. We wanted to make it simpler. Of course, for the audience, when you're looking at the picture there, or which one you're holding up, I think that's a front set.
This is a front. Yeah, I didn't want
to compare size wise, but look at how massive the stock rear, and the Duraspring that goes in the rear is that massive.
Yes, the
pops
one
right in.
Yeah, it just literally. I mean, I even thought, well, I'll put a little bit of dish soap or something around the the Metal Cloak DuraSpring, and it sits into the cup. And I took a long pry bar and literally just went boonk, and I mean it sits right in there. I felt like I was all prepared. You know, I'm going to do this install, and I was done before I got started. Really.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. The front's a little bit more difficult, and you should think about it as you're doing your at the moment that you decide to put a suspension lift on. Just add those in there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They're available. They're available on Amazon. They're available at our website. They're available at all your different places across the country.
And when I do front stuff, you know, I don't have a lift here at the house, but if I'm working on the front and I need to get in those springs or unseat them, I use a cherry picker. So I just lift the front end up. It unseats the spring far enough I can get them and stick them up in there. But
nice.
For the rears of the JLs, it's I don't know. Maybe I'm going to take a bunch of these to some of our events and be like, start selling them, because
here, I'll pop this in for you.
People need them a lot.
Right. I have to have a truckload of them, I think. But
the funny thing is about it, and yet at the same time, if you're running a stock rig, don't throw those in, because you're actually adding about an inch of bump. And you can also adjust. It's also important to notice there's about an inch more bump there. So if you have a 3-inch bump stop in the rear, right, and you add one of those in, make it a 2-inch bump stop in the rear with that, right? You got to adjust for height and how it's set up. So it's just important to think about.
These will come into contact a little bit quicker, like Matson was just saying. Again, this is a rear, this is a front. So lengthwise, I can't go like this and show you the difference. But the rears are almost an inch longer than this one. So they'll come into contact quicker, but can't really see in the picture. Yeah, you can a little bit. This is tapered. So these down here are smaller, so they'll compress easier. Progressive rate. I know it's hard to explain, but progressive.
Check it out, guys. They're cool. Like I said, they're super simple, easy. They're shaped like a hex, because it is Metal Cloak, and so we gotta have our hex and make it look cool, and they pop in cool. Well, thank you. We appreciate that, Corey, for the little unsolicited.
Absolutely.
promotion.
Yeah, my notes here for this week's episode, we've got so much stuff to talk about. There's so much been going on in our industry. We've got KOH. KOH is over. The Olympics are going on. We have a Death Valley event coming up. We have a Rocklander giveaway coming up. There's just so much to talk about. It's kind of overwhelming.
Right. Well, and we're going to have a Death Valley not Death Valley, but a KOH specific episode coming up here, guys. So we're not going to talk too much about that, but I do want to say big shout out to Gomez brothers, to Raul. We kind of joke about it, but those guys are crazy. They're awesome.
So much fun.
They're so much fun to be around. We kind of think the party probably ended Monday, because it was started Saturday night and then maybe ended probably midday Monday. It would be my guess. And you got to think about that one. And I didn't watch the end of the race, so it was an epic battle going back and forth between Jason and Raul. We've had Jason on the show before. He's amazing. So either one of those guys would have been fantastic to have win. And then to have Marcos be like was it fourth? And it could have been like you didn't know until down to the wire for corrected time. It could have been Marcos. If it would have had two Gomez brothers podium, the party would have ended maybe still be going on right now, maybe ended Friday. I mean,
you got to throw JP in there. Can you imagine at some point having 1, 2, 3?
Oh God, it's like the dream.
It's going to happen.
And guys, you understand that they're from here. They're local here, right? So Mountain Enterprises is a company up here. That's their big company. They got big, massive contracts with PG&E.
They bring cranes to the pits.
Yeah, exactly. They're awesome guys. They're fun. They don't have an egotistical ounce in their bodies. They're just there. They're doing this, and it's a whole family thing. And they compete against each other. I mean, these are three brothers who absolutely do not lay back when it comes to competition. Four brothers, right? But JP, Marcos, and Raul are just the ones that have just put the money into the cars and the racing and the pushing it, and really the guys you see on the track all the time. Now, in the upcoming, that's kind of what you were talking about before, but they will definitely be out racing. If you didn't get a chance to see them and you're in the Northern California area at all, when we do the NorCal rock racing round 1 out here at Prairie City, which is the end of March, they will be there. So if you want to see these guys race and you want to see them go against each other, and you didn't make it down to KOH and you want to meet the King of the Hammer for 2022, come on down and check that event out, because it's going to be pretty awesome. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
the partying, oh my gosh. Anyway, that being said, so we got to go on to your list, because you have an agenda to go over and things to talk about, and I can fill the airtime with nothing of importance.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. There's a lot of people even after KOH this year that because of social media, we've told you can protect yourself going out there and being in the cold and the dirt and all that and the dust and hammer lung and what that's like, and was this a year for hammer lung or not? But you know what? There's a whole bunch of people sick now that they've gotten away from that dust and dirt. And it's I don't know. We talked about not being out there and still feeling pretty cruddy from being sick the last few weeks. I wish I have feelings for all these people that have been ill and dealing with now. Hey, do I have COVID or do I have just dust in my throat? And what do I need to do? And it really plays on all of us, and us getting into the event season. I'm not sure really where I'm going with any of this, but as we get into event season and we are feeling run down, I think it's important we just take a moment and think about that physical health and the mental health and how important it is to take care of ourselves. We're going to be around a whole bunch of people again this year. I don't know, maybe we're just not doing as good a job as we could in taking care of our own health systems.
Right. Right. Well, I don't know. I think in general, the problem with something when COVID comes up, all of a sudden we're caused to question how we take care of ourselves, right? Because there are times you go through a year, you go, I didn't get sick at all this year. Other times, man, the flu gets you down. You do things, you got stuff. But now it's like, and it's exactly that. I started coughing the other day. I have my two girls have runny noses. I had a little bit of a sore throat yesterday. Oh my God, do I have COVID?
Right.
So I go get the home test. And we do have home tests, but my wife bought another brand, and it's not as easy as the other one. So it was too many steps. So I said, fuck it, I'm not going to do it.
I'm not doing that. Right.
Not doing that. But no, it is. You got to take care of yourself. But is it appropriate for us to always be freaking out and thinking that oh my God, we got it. Okay, we could be. It's not. It doesn't help your mental health.
No.
Like, you got to go on. The greatest thing about life is producing something, is doing something, right? And if you're doing something, I don't care if you're doing something that's fun, like fishing, or if you're doing something that requires some work. Everything should be fun to some degree, but you can't sit there freaking out that all of a sudden you've got a little sore throat and, oh my God, do I have COVID? It
is weird. It's a downward, it plays on itself, and it doesn't make us get any better, because you get concerned, and your mental health structure is so bearing on your physical, because if you think about it hard enough, you can make your body sick like that.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of control there. And
when the placebo effect.
Exactly. And I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on all across the industry with events and requirements. And, here in Colorado, Denver just released and removed all of their mask mandates for indoor events. And then yet you hear about some other little town or some event somewhere else, and they're implementing where you got to show proof of vaccination, and it's mandatory masks. So I think there's a lot of confusion. And even for us, as we travel a lot, what do I need to do? How can we do better? I'm still coughing, and Jesse, so we still got sinus issues from a month ago. But I feel better when we're doing things. If I'm going to sit here and listen to or WebMD it myself or listen to commentary from the TV, the media, it makes me feel worse. And then I do feel sick because I feel like I should feel sick because they're telling me I should feel sick.
Right. You don't want to be out. You want to be the guy who's not sick. Like
Right. And you don't want to tell anybody you're sick because then, well, yeah, see, you're part of it, and you're.
So it's interesting because there's some statistics that say over 70% of all illness has a psychosomatic cause to it, right? Which means it's a mentally caused. Your mind plays havoc over yourself, right? The greatest example of that is you go for a week, and then when the moment you come home and you stop, you start feeling sick because your activity level, the production, the doingness, our lizard brains and everything we are designed to do is going and putting off, and it fights back, right? Our antibodies and everything else in our bodies are fighting back the potential for sickness. It's when we stop and all of a sudden get sedentary that we have a greater chance of getting sick. But the mental side of it as well is the stress caused by the media, that we should be freaking out about our lives. The more stress you have, the greater vulnerability you are, the more your immune system is compromised, right?
We've never freaked out before.
Yeah.
Now we're freaking out.
We never freaked out years ago, and now all of a sudden we freak. And I guess maybe that's my point of talking about even the bump stops. Something so simple to go out the garage and lay on the ground and do something. Those little things mean so much, and they make a big difference. Whether whatever you're into, like if it's walking or riding a bike,
whatever you're into,
yes. If it's washing your car, if it's sorting pictures on your computer, it takes your mind away from all of these negative energy type draws. And I think it's extremely healthy it's wintertime. And that's why people get sick in the wintertime, is because they hibernate.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I tell you. That's why I stay away from the news. We were talking Olympics. Probably one of the reasons you're hearing a lot about the Olympics and I'm not is I don't watch
regular TV.
I don't watch meat. I don't watch regular news. Right. I've interestingly enough haven't been on TikTok the last couple of weeks. So, I'm sure there's stuff happening on TikTok about the Olympics. I'm sure there's other things going out there. Not my shtick. So it's like, we were talking about the Olympics. I think it's going on because I'm a fan of Shaun White, and I heard he was out doing something, but I'm also not gonna watch it because I'm embarrassed for him, because I don't know that he can actually do some of the stuff we're seeing the young kids do on their snowboards and the pipes.
Pretty amazing.
I mean,
he did pull it. He almost didn't even qualify last night. His last run, he had one chance to qualify, and he needed a certain score so that he can compete in the main event in 2 days.
Yeah.
And he pulled it out. And he qualified fourth. So
the Japanese
guys are
they came out to qualify and hit it hard. They didn't let up. Everybody's like, we're just going to do the minimum so we can qualify. But these guys came out and ripped it up.
Well, what they're doing, I mean, it defies gravity, and it's like this, the double, triple, quadruple somersault twist with while opening up a soda and drinking it and landing on
taking a selfie in the middle,
right, or the ones you're watching where they're doing the freestyle down the hill, and what gets me is they're flexing their board, and then they pop the board, and then they do a forward somersault off the hill down.
And I did something similar to that this morning just when I got out of bed.
Yeah, but you said you were popping your toe across the board.
Right.
Somersault down the stairs.
Falling out of bed and then crawling on the floor. And
Yes, I missed that one.
I'm sure it's amazing for anybody able to watching it. We just it's the last thing. Although it's kind of fun. You have kids, you probably should be watching it. Maybe I should be a better daddy and let them watch people doing amazing things so they can just bug me. I want to snowboard, or whatever. But yeah, it's kind of cool. So let's talk about giveaways.
Yeah.
real quick, because there's 2 giveaways that we want to discuss. Well, there's 3 really. If you happen to be listening to Modern Jeeper and you are a Bronco fan or know a Bronco fan, go over to bronco6g.com, because our first ever giveaway on bronco6g.com from Metal Cloak is going on now. It ends the end of February, and that is for the first product of the Bronco line that will be going live, and that's our skid plate system for the Bronco 4-door. The Bronco 4-door 2.7 liter, I think, is the engine that it's related to. But that being said, right now, like next weekend, I think it's next weekend is the California convention for the California Four-Wheel Drive Association.
Yep.
And for those of you on video, you can see here the Win-A-Jeep, the Jeep that we built for them a year ago, is going to be given away. There's still time to get tickets. We probably should have been talking about this before, but now it's like the last minute urgency. It's a fully built. This is a 2021 Altitude edition. Yeah, you got it there too. It's a 2021 Altitude edition. Orange with Metal Cloak, fully cloaked. It has an ARS rack, all this fun stuff on it. Built BFG tires. Nacho.
It's Nacho
Jeep.
Nacho.
But it could be.
It has race line wheels. I mean, it's just it's a well built rig.
Very nice.
Tickets are only $20. So here's an example of a ticket, right? I know you can see it on the camera. It's actually kind of blown out from the light, but there. Now here's the thing: anybody across the country can buy one of these tickets.
That's right.
All you need to do is call them up, and what they do is they'll send you out a pack. And you just call Cal4, you call them at 916-381-8300 or cal4wheel.com/win, and they will send out a pack. Of course, you're not going to win unless you fill it out and send it back, but you fill it out, send it back with money, and they'll put it in.
And I think time is of the essence here, because I think that they're very, very close to ending the cutoff stuff. Yeah.
And we have done this before, where we might even do that this weekend with something going on, but where we have done entries for people, right? And had them just delivered down there, because we'll just have them physically deliver them. That being said, like when you do this, anybody can win. And that night of the which is Saturday night, when they do the drawing, it's a big drawing, a big giant barrel, and they spin the barrel and you pull out the winning ticket. They call the person. Like you have to put your phone number down, and they call you live. And I've been there where it's like, hello, what? Because it might be somebody on the East Coast, a couple hours ahead, just letting you win. And you either think that it's BS, like who's calling me at 11 o'clock at night. One year, the person didn't even know, like somebody had bought the tickets for them and didn't even know they won. And then they just make arrangements for you to get your Jeep. So it's pretty cool. You still have an opportunity to get some. And if you're interested, email me, Matson@metalcloak.com. I'm happy to help coordinate you. I've got a big stack of tickets here, like for some of the employees are getting them, that sort of thing. So I'm happy I can actually coordinate with you and get them turned in. We'll just work out something. You pay me via PayPal or whatever, and I'll get those turned in for you. So Matson@metalcloak.com. Tickets are $20 a piece, and happy. There is no minimum. And there is no maximum. You can do 100 tickets if you want, and I'll take care of it.
And the dollars for this is a good cause. This is a fundraiser for Cal 4-Wheel, and all they do to help fight land uses and issues and support the great trails that we utilize. So
all the great trails in California, including the Rubicon, all these ones that they've done. So Cal 4-Wheel is a great organization. The other giveaway, this is one that is much more broad. If you're sitting here watching this on YouTube, go over to open up your browser and go to ultimaterocklander.com. So this about a week ago started actually before our last episode, but we didn't talk about it. The Ultimate Rocklander giveaway. This is a giveaway, a multi-month giveaway being done by ARS, Adventure Rack Systems. The Rocklander, what is a Rocklander? A Rocklander is the rock crawler that happens to do overlanding. That's our world, right? That's what we do. We get out there, we build our rigs to handle the Rubicon Trail, but we can also go through Death Valley and have a great time. So that's the Rocklander. So the Ultimate Rocklander giveaway is over $20,000. And I think the rate this is going, because we're still gathering sponsors,
it could be bigger than that.
It could be almost $30,000 in value, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, we've got all kinds of stuff. Not only do we have suspension and stuff and Metal Cloak parts that are part of it, We have adventure rack systems, and this is for JK, JL, or JT. So it doesn't matter, anyone, it'll be your choice. If you win it and you have a JT, just let us know. We'll hook everything up. We have wheels from Raceline. We have tires from Milestar. We have everything from like a shovel from DMOS. We have so many little things going on, stoves, all that kind of stuff. We even have Modern Jeeper Adventure tickets. We have, we're going to end up having subscriptions to magazines. I mean, this is a massive, massive prize package that is just growing and growing, right? And so, like I said, this could be upwards of $30,000 in value when it's all said and done, but we're calling it the 20K giveaway, just because we know that's where we're going to at least be at. UltimateRocklander.com. You check it out, put in your information, and that's it. It's super easy. No need, you don't have to purchase anything. All you need to do is go to UltimateRocklander.com, share it with your friends. As it goes, guys, once you're entered in now, we will start having other ways to get bonus entries, right? This is a multi-month thing. The really cool thing is you're going to have all of us gathered together at Overland Expo West in Flagstaff, Arizona on May 21st, where we will do a live drawing and announce the winner. So it'll be done on the podcast live, boom, at Overland Expo West, May 21st. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be awesome. I even know some of our partners will be out there, so we'll make a big deal of it with the show. And it's just the first time we've ever done anything this epic, right? And so UltimateRocklander.com, share it with your friends, everybody know, and get it out there. But it's a pretty fun thing. It's already blowing up. I mean, we've already got several thousand entries. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and lots of folks are already asking questions, and I think it's perfect. It's a good time of year. It's this push towards rock landing, and again, there's a couple of articles we've put out, and I've made some posts about Death Valley, and there are people that have kind of poo-pooed the whole driving through the desert thing. Well, you just haven't been with the right group of people. So again, yeah, it's this overlanding / camping. You know what? It's all about the Jeep lifestyle, and we're just giving everybody different ways to view different places. So pretty cool giveaway for sure.
Well, and I've sent out some emails. If you're on my email list, you've seen, or even on the Modern Jeeper email list, you've seen what we're kind of. The reality is, we do things a certain way. We always have, and so Modern Jeeper, we put a certain level of quality into this stuff. Sometimes you don't realize how different that is than what everybody else is doing. And guys, there's some events out there, and I got an email from somebody who's like, really, $850 for Death Valley? You don't even provide us meals? It's like, well, we do a lot for that. Not only do the permits, and we're actually a fully permitted event, cost money, but just everything it takes logistically to put it together. There are events out there charging several $1,000s.
That's right.
For Death Valley. One, that aren't permitted, and two, that basically you're driving from one location to the next, and it's silent. You're listening to your radio.
Yeah, guys, this isn't a let's go visit all the visitor centers. We don't do that. And in fact, we don't do that on any of our trips. Any of our trips are there. There's a value there, and talk to the people that have been with us before. I guarantee you, I even made a promise a couple of months ago. If you were to sign up for one of our trips and you don't have a good time, you don't think it was the best adventure, I'll give you your money back. And people were like, oh, there's no, like, people were over the top saying how much they enjoyed it. We don't drive down the paved roads and show you the highlights of hey, look at that rock and keep driving. No, this is different. And I don't know how more to explain it than you just have to attend.
Yeah. It is, and it truly is. Yeah, Corey has truly embraced learning from Uncle Dell, and Corey has embraced becoming a historian. I mean, I'm half expecting him to write a book about it now.
He's still growing.
The Corey Osborne picture book, right?
Right.
Death Valley for Jeepers, and just how it's all coming together and learning about it. And it's such an iconic part of our history. It is. If you really want to learn something, if you enjoy that kind of environment, if you want to meet new friends, I know that my last email that went out from Metal Cloak had a couple of link issues, but all of those that have reached out, just ModernJeeperAdventures.com is where you go, and ModernJeeperAdventures.com is where you go to get registration and do it. There should be a bunch of registrations popping in, because I've had several guys email me and say, hey, I was trying to register. So get out there, check it out, be a part of it. It's going to be great. And if you miss it in the spring, we do one in the fall.
That's right. And know that this time is of the essence. This is coming up. We're about 4 weeks out. The first trip is probably only got about 3 or 4 spots in it. The second trip, we have about the same, maybe 5 spots available. And I'll take up to 12. That's a lot, though. I'd rather this be, around that 8, 9, 10 mark with us included. So if you can't go in the spring, the fall trip is in November. It's a good time too.
It's not freezing.
It's not freezing cold. We also have Moab. Moab is live. We have the Tillamook event coming up in June. I'm sorry, July. And we'll have our Colorado trip again. Guys, we don't these aren't superficial, let's go play on a dirt road. We try to make the experience all that. So,
and we're working on other locations too. We're scouting out, and history wise, and so we're putting together some more. Just stay tuned.
Stay tuned for the 2023 Jeep City, Modern Jeeper City.
Yes,
at Burning Man.
And Burning Man.
Heck
Burning Man.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Why not? That's it. So guys, get out there. But that's part of we will have a giveaway for being part of that. In fact, a Modern Jeeper event for you and up to 3 people to join you for a big epic event as part of that giveaway that we're doing too, the Ultimate Rocklander. So lots of cool stuff out there, lots of cool giveaways. And it's just a way of giving back, I think, too. It's fun to do. Right. Obviously we want a little bit of marketing out of it, but really it's just an opportunity and stuff. So we got Death Valley. But this is like the season, because this month out here on our side, we've got Winter Fun Fest,
Winter Fun Fest,
which is now going to be Winter Mud Fest, because it went from winter too much fun, too much snow fest, in January, to now it's going to be Mud Fest in February. The convention, we've got that. We've got there's just a lot of stuff going. All of a sudden, March is just full.
Yep. March is the start of that season, right? The weather starts to change. It gets nicer. People want to get outside. There's some really good articles on ModernJeeper.com. We've talked a lot about trail use, trail overuse, getting involved with Blue Ribbon Coalition, how you can be more involved, whether or not things are getting overrun. And there's a lot of focus on everybody who goes off-road these days. And if we're not doing it right, and if we're not taking care of these trails, they're going to get taken away from us. So make sure you're checking out the information on ModernJeeper.com. Go to the website, take a look at a couple of the articles, get on the forum, join the forum, ask questions, get involved. It'll help your mental and physical health.
Hey, I do have a question about ModernJeeper.com, because this is for my own mental health. The article about Jeep kicks off the 2022 with high tide and high velocity yellow. Is that a high tide? Is that supposed to be the velocity yellow edition, or is that the green one?
That artist rendition, I don't think is quite the right color.
Okay.
But that came from Stellantis directly. And I have questions about it as well. Information has been
very little.
They're leaking this out. This is a Jeep Beach edition Jeep. Jeep Beach has become such a popular destination and event that Jeep has now a model they're releasing to honor it.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Which I wonder if they're going to get one to give away, because they've done a giveaway Jeeps the last few years. And
I'm sure.
And we've donated parts to it, but if Jeep's giving them a one, they're probably not going to want any parts for it just yet. But that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. That's awesome. Well, so that handles that. I just was looking, that's not quite yellow.
No,
sometimes you're not sure what they consider yellow. Like, nacho? Is it orange, or what is it really?
Yeah, and from what I've read and certain other leaks and stuff, I've heard that this high velocity yellow is really going to grab some attention. It's super bright. So
Super bright. So
And I
wow.
need one.
How is it? So how does it?
super
The two of it's one thing for the two of you to find each other and just have just this kindred spirit in life is just amazing. But the fact that you both have you love yellow too. I mean, that's just this perfect
The
alignment.
only Jeep.
Yeah, it just goes.
right.
I got the whole get a white one and wrap it. I'm like, I don't want to.
I don't want it.
I want my yellow.
No, yellow. So Jack, my boy. No. I don't want it. I just do it for me. I don't want it.
Sounds like me about noon.
Is that that's your hungry voice?
Right.
Yeah. Or at about 5 o'clock in EJS after you've done 40 rigs.
Oh, yeah, I don't want it.
anymore.
I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Hey, I want to throw this out before we get out of here. Moab. Whether it's Easter Jeep Safari or it's our Modern Jeeper Adventure, we did quite a bit of scouring the last couple of days for places to stay. Guys, if you're going to EJS and you're looking for a hotel right now, good luck. If you need to either get on VRBO, even for our own Modern Jeeper Adventure, people are right. And I made a comment to Jesse yesterday. I'm like, you know what? It's funny that you can go stay a week in Las Vegas right now, or you can stay 2 nights in Moab. Same price.
Wow.
Yeah.
Moab is crazy expensive, and I don't see it going to stop.
And realize, guys, when we're talking about no availability for Easter Jeep Safari, there are a lot of tourists there that have no clue that they're there during Easter Jeep Safari.
It was slim pickings when I got the condo for us.
They're just going there because it's become this destination. All the hotels, not only do you have the Visitors Bureau promoting it, you have all the hotels putting more money into the Visitors Bureau to promote it, but they're promoting directly too because they need to keep those beds full. So now it's like more and more chance to go visit. So when you go there, there's a lot of people that don't know. So if you are going, be polite, be generous. Don't realize it used to be we'd go there and like, okay, this is our Jeep town. Out of my way.
Every year we get asked the same questions. We have a lot of tourists that show up to town and they're like, is there some kind of an event going on? They have no idea. So it's kind of an interesting interaction. But guys, don't be surprised if you're going to see $400 and $500 a night for some hotels. So just be prepared and plan early. Make reservations. You can cancel reservations now almost right up to the date. So if you're planning on maybe you want to go, maybe you should find a place to stay first. And then if it doesn't work out, cancel your reservation.
So you can get a really nice rooftop tent to go on your rack, or you can get a nice trailer to pull behind you because you're surrounded by BLM land.
Yep.
And pretty much it's a free-for-all if you want to camp on BLM land.
That's right.
Right. You can just go out there. There's places right off the highway. You can go and just like set up a tent, camp there, and have a lot of because unfortunately a lot of the campgrounds got bought up and the land from the campgrounds is being used to build these luxury hotels.
Right.
And so it's you're if you want to do that, you can always go then. Or go south, right? Go just outside the county. Things a little bit cheaper. Go north. It's pretty cheap up there. I think what is that little town? Just up.
There's some stuff in Green River, which is
Green River,
25 miles north of Moab. There's a new hotel even in Green River. There's a new Holiday Inn Express. But and again, it comes back to being respectful of others and giving people some space and not showing up like you own Moab, and that goes with anywhere.
I own Moab. I don't know about you, man.
Yeah, right.
Right. I mean, that's I'm an investor. I bought 0.00001 shares. So out of my way, buddy. I got a shirt. I got a shirt. I had a shirt. I own Moab. Well, yeah. So Easter Jeep Safari, which is an interesting thing because it's still, I think Sand Hollow is now becoming the new Moab, right? And we'll always support Easter Jeep Safari because it's always going to be a thing. But these other events are just going to be outpacing it to some degree.
Well, and the infrastructure of some of these other places is much more equipped to handle a large amount of people, where Moab is still in this, Moab's an interesting place, and they used to have a on season and an off season, and it's becoming almost on season all the time. But I mean, the bicyclists and the hikers and the campers, they kind of tend to avoid Easter time in general, just because they do. If they've gone there in the past, they know of Easter Jeep Safari. They know how many people come to town. I understand these towns going, hey, maybe we don't want to have this many people in town, or there's issues when all these people come to town, and that's because people aren't being respectful. So if we don't take care of these places, they will go away. We won't be able to go on these trails. So
right.
Yeah,
we're already fighting for that, right?
That's right.
You don't want all that land out there to be called a wilderness area, because that means no vehicles, no bicycles, nothing.
That's right.
Nothing except for your feet. And I don't want to walk it. Sorry.
No.
I'm lazy. There's no sidewalks.
Yeah, no. And for you guys drinking at home, KOH. So
yeah, what was it? KOH?
KOH? I think it's KOH.
KOH.
Was our tag word.
What does that stand for?
King of
hard alcohol.
Hammered. King of the Hammered.
King of the Hammered. KOH. So KOH. Now
I'm gonna get messages.
What's
now,
your next
thanks.
CTI event? I mean, is your next actual CTI event, is that is that Easter Jeep Safari, or are you doing something before then?
We have a couple of possibilities. So for the folks that are following us super close, we're still trying to get some repairs done from our friends at Linex on the CTI trailer. But we may have something coming up right after Death Valley, before EJS. We'll see how that plays out. See if I can get the trailer repaired before then. Otherwise, our first formal event will be Easter Jeep Safari.
Easter Jeep Safari. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be, well, that means you got to come on out. Now we will have, we have for the West Coast guys, there will be an event on, let's see, what's that? March 2nd. So March 2nd, we're heading south, and we will have one at American Off-Road in Bakersfield. At
American Off-Road?
Yeah, there's an American Off-Road in Bakersfield. It's like,
gotcha.
Yeah, just same as our buddies in Vegas. But
in Vegas, okay.
Yeah, so I think it's American Off-Road. It's a variation like that, but it's in Bakersfield. So we'll be doing an event there in Bakersfield. Then we have a one in, and I forget the actual location, but off the 10 on Thursday on our way. So basically between Bakersfield and Ocotillo Wells. I'll have to confirm. We'll put out there in the show notes where it's going to be on Thursday night. Usually these things are like 4 o'clock, like 4 to 6 or something like that, 4 to 7. And then on Thursday night, we'll do one at that shop. And then Friday from 1 to like 4 or 5. And then Saturday, 1 to 4 or 5, will be out at Ocotillo Wells. We will be located next to the tent, which, as I understand it, is in the Jack in the Box parking lot area. That big complex there with the truck stop, and all of a sudden they're doing a tent there. So this is kind of a virtual event. So if you're looking to win raffle prizes and everything, you're going to do it online. They get, like, Saturday night, they'll have a big thing online. So it's just kind of a small thing. They're calling it the 59th and a half. And so we're going out there to support them. Should be fun to see and do it. So it's unfortunately, because of COVID, they had to back off doing what they would normally do. And next year is the official 60th, which is start planning now, because that is going to be a blowout. It's going to be
for
amazing.
Sure.
So that's where we'll be. So you do have an opportunity in Southern California to get your CTI on over those 4 days.
Cool.
Sorry, I'm looking at some emails that some people gave to me. All right. So I'm looking at little things getting sent over. Sorry, I'm being distracted.
KOH focus.
KOH.
focus.
I need a drink. All right. So what else? Anything last minute? Anything else on your list that you haven't touched on yet?
No, we've got some fun technology we're going to start playing with on some of our events and whatnot to hopefully create better videos. And got our little buddy. I'll introduce him later, but we got our little friend Don King here, who is
Don King.
This is Don.
Don King.
I just like doing that.
You just like. Well, I'm glad you call him Don King because that could be also called,
this is Don King.
Yeah.
Our little voice recorder that we're going to start using more of. No, I don't got nothing else. We got lots going on, lots to get done before Death Valley, and yeah.
That's awesome. Well, cool, guys. There's a lot going on. Obviously, we're all busy. We love every one of you for taking the time to listen to the show. We will have a guest on next week that will be somehow associated with KOH and KOH. Did I say KOH? I did. All right. I just want to make sure you guys all end the show with with an up note. That being said, Corey, thanks for talking about KOH and the whole event out there. I think it's just phenomenal. You need to reach out to us. You know how to get hold of me and Matson@MetalCloak.com, Corey@MetalCloak.com, Jesse@MetalCloak.com. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about some of our interviews. Let us know what you think about different things. Let us know ideas of people you want us to have on the show. I'd be happy to have Joe Rogan or somebody on. So if you know him, I'd love to have him on the show.
Yeah,
because I hear he's a Jeeper. And he's a Jeeper, and he's a white racist Jeeper, but he's still a Jeeper.
Oh my goodness.
That being said, my friends, thank you for joining us for this amazing hour and 10 minutes or whatever we've been talking. And if you need anything, reach out again. We'll see you on the trails.
Cheers.
See ya.